Thank the management and staff of Equatorial Agriculture Broadcasting Corporation that CBLPC. We'd like to also thank our media police who have taken all their time to come in the charge beyond press for to inform the Liberian people about what the government is doing through the official spokesperson of the government. This afternoon, I'd like to invite the Deputy Spokesperson of the government, Honorable Daniel Sando, who will make his introductory comments, after which he will officially introduce to you our guest, Mr. Sando.
Good afternoon, members of the press. Good afternoon to our distinguished guests. We are happy to be back here in the historic Charles Boyon conference room here at the Ministry of Information, Cultural Affairs and Tourism. The Minister, Honorable Jeremy Pia, and all members of the senior management team here at the Ministry of Information would also like to recognize our distinguished platform guests. Of course, we are still anticipating the arrival of the Honorable Minister of Agriculture, Dr. Nuetah. His team is already here. We also have today, we've been working with the group that organized the beauty pageant for all of the universities in Liberia. That pageant was successfully relaxed in the conference hall. That pageant was successfully held, and some of the queens that participated, including the winner for that pageant, they are here. The ministry being the ministry that has supervisory role over pageantry in the country. When they initiated the effort, they worked with the Ministry of Information, the Department of Tourism, and everything was done successfully. So the come here today, of course, Minister Pia has something very special to say, there will be a dedication as well. And so before we talk to our guests, like I said, the Minister of Agriculture is on his way. We have the Beauty Pageant and the Miss University Beauty Pageant group. We just want to make a few remarks on certain development happening across the country, and then we'll entertain remarks from the guests before we take question and answer, and then Minister Pia will speak. A lot is happening in the country, and we have to lay them out as a spoke entity for the government of Liberia. The Ministry of Mines and Energy has begun a verification of mining licenses across the country. They've also embarked on a crackdown of illicit mining activities. The action commends. It entails spot verification of all mining and exploration licenses. Those who are holding these licenses, the ministry want to ascertain whether you are involved with what you are permitted to do. We are told that there are instances where people go to apply for Class C license and they get involved with Class A mining activities. That is wrong on our laws. And so the Ministry of Mines and Energy has initiated this effort to crack down on all illicit mining activities happening across the country. It is important that we do so because the mining sector is a very strategic sector. And following to that, the Ministry of Mines and Energy shut down illegal mining operations in a place called Madhouse, Electoral District Number 1, Brembassa County. This happened last week. This entity was owned by a foreigner, and they were involved into illegal mining activities. All contrabands, materials of the company, which is named Hong Mining Company, all those things that were used to perpetrate the illicit mining acts have been confiscated by the Ministry of Mines and Energy. They have also shut down the operations of that company. And those involved, I mean the foreigners, and all those involved have been turned over to the Ministry of Justice for further investigation. Also, the government of Liberia, through the Ministry of Mines and Energy, and the Liberia Electricity and Regulatory Commission, the LERC, will shortly begin an interview exercise intended to certify or certificate licensed professionals, electrical professionals, and contractors across the country. The process is a key part of measures aimed at identifying competent practitioners who should provide industrial and home electrical services to customers. The move by the Ministry of Mines and Energy and the Liberia Electricity Regulation Authority is in line with precautionary measures to prevent post-service deliveries by electricians, which far-reaching consequences include incident of fire outbreaks. Of course, the Ministry of Mines will chair the interview panel, whose work is expected to begin soon. The Deputy Minister for Energy, Charles Marie, will handle the ministry's role, along with authorities of the Liberia Electricity Regulatory Commission. All sector members who have been certificated will play a leadership role on the panel. The government of Liberia has recently observed that mob justice has been on the increase. And when the Minister of Justice was here the other day, he mentioned that as the entity of government that is concerned with the enforcement of law and order, they were formulating policies to address the growing wave of mob violence across the country. So against that backdrop, the Ministry of Justice launches the National Anti-Mob Justice campaign effective next week. As mob justice continues to threaten the well-being of communities and have adverse effects on businesses and investors, the Ministry of Justice will on Tuesday, 8th April 2025, launch the National Anti-Mob Justice campaign. The campaign is due to the upward increase in mob violence being experienced in the country. If not curtailed, mob violence will become entrenched within the Liberian society, thereby leading to terrible consequences. The Liberia Water and Sewer Corporation is working to revamp the sector and to ensure that the public and have purified and safe drinking water. They inaugurated a facility in Bokoro City. They're not stopping there. The management of the LWSC is making all of these frantic efforts to revamp infrastructure within the sector. And against that backdrop, we have brought into the country 48-inch pipe. And the reason why the pipe was brought in is to replace the outdated and existing infrastructure which contains 36-inch pipes. Of course, it is through this pipe that water is transmitted from the White Plains to the capital. And you realize that intermittently there has been some interruption or disruption in the flow of water. Because the pipe, some of this infrastructure have outlived their usefulness. So the Liberia Water and Sewer Corporation want to replace the existing infrastructure with modern ones. So they brought into the country these pipes. We are told that the project is being funded by a loan of $12.4 million, which is given by the World Bank. This project, when fully implemented, will see rigorous transformation in the sector. The changing of existing pipes, replacing them with new ones to ensure the uninterrupted supply of water to the capital. The pipes were brought into the country by ABM Terminal, and that the LWSC management is calling on them to fast track the clearing and delivery of these items, because the project, we are told, is supposed to be completed by October of this year. Also, the LWSC is expected to commence the construction and renovation of 3 additional water facilities in the southeast. And the areas captured on this project are Plibo, Greenville, and Zweyu cities. Advertisements for these contracts are ongoing, and will-be contractors have started to tender in their bid for the project. This project is expected to also be completed in the month of May, which is next month. So by next month, we anticipate that if everything goes as planned, the cities of Plibo, Greenville, and Zweyu will have running water restored. This is good news for our country, because as a government, we have a duty not just to provide security for the territorial confines of the country, not just to create jobs for our people, but to ensure the delivery of basic social services. And water is very important. So the Ministry of Youth and Sport will be here on next Tuesday to provide additional or more information on the upcoming Intragovernmental League. But just this morning they asked us to announce to the public that the Intragovernmental League is slated to commence on 10th April 2025 with all ministries, agencies, commissions, and state-owned enterprises of government in full readiness to participate. We are told that the league is expected to be played at 4 venues in and around Monrovia. And they include the SKD Sports Complex, the SKD Practice Pitch, Tusa Field, and the football field in the barrack, or the BTC field. The Ministry of Information, Cultural Affairs and Tourism, of course, He's been clothed with the authority to chair the Media and Publicity Committee, and that committee will be co-chaired by the state broadcaster, LBS. The National Steering Committee, of course, is chaired by the Ministry of Youth and Sports. The Protest and Disciplinary Committee for the Intragovernmental League is chaired by the General Auditing Commission and all integrated institutions of government serving as members. Yesterday, there was a huge donation on behalf of the government of the People's Republic of China to the people of Liberia. Liberia healthcare sector received a major boost with donation of advanced medical equipment and supplies from the Chinese government. The consignment handed over at the John F. Kennedy Medical Center on Wednesday, 2nd of April 2025, is expected to strengthen Liberia's medical infrastructure, particularly in the fight against cardiovascular diseases. The donation establishes Liberia's first ever cardiology unit at GFK. The unit will focus on diagnosing and treating heart-related conditions, making a significant step forward in specialized healthcare services. Cardiovascular diseases have been a growing concern in Liberia, and it is believed that this initiative could be a life-saving one for many patients who previously had limited treatment options. Speaking at the handover ceremony, China Ambassador to Liberia reaffirmed Beijing's commitment to supporting Liberia's health sector. He described the donation as part of a broader effort to strengthen bilateral ties and enhance medical care in a country. He indicated that China remains a steadfast partner in Liberia's journey towards better healthcare delivery. And finally, yesterday the team from the Liberia Telecommunication Authority was at the PHP Park. Some were speculating that the government demolishing the park. It is not true. Here's the actual information. The Liberian government, through the Liberia Telecommunications Authority, LTA, and the Cable Consortium of Liberia, has launched urgent repair works on the country's only fiber optic cable, the Africa Coast to Europe A's submarine cable, which provides Liberia's primary internet connectivity, has been at risk following a controversial construction project initiated by the former government. The construction of the PHP Park, despite warning from experts in the telecommunications sector, directly impacted the cable's landing site. It has been revealed that during the construction, large quantity of header rods were placed over the cable, causing it to sink and disrupting connectivity. Since then, Liberia has endured frequent internet outages, with experts cautioning that a complete cut-off is imminent if no corrective measures are taken. So the way we were doing over there yesterday is not to break the park down, as some were speculating on social media. They want to rescue the cable. because when you see where they dug the installation of all the cables from the Atlantic Ocean, it passes through that corridor. And as a result of the construction of this park, it caused serious disruption. That is why the internet has not been functioning at full length in the country. So the LTA has intervened, and as part of the process, an ACE cable repair ship is scheduled to arrive in Liberia on 23rd October to conduct the necessary restoration work. We'd like to thank the LTA and team for being far-sighted in resolving some of the problems we have with internet availability in the country. Because in this ancient time, we always say data is life. So, with that being said, the minister? Yeah. Is the minister? Yes. The Minister of Agriculture.
Minister and members of the high table here. Let me thank the family of the MICAT for giving us this opportunity today to stand here and make some clarification. I remember on last Friday, while we were out of the country, there was the appearance of Senator Nuetah on the EFBC morning breakfast show, providing information to the public that the Ministry of Agriculture has mismanaged 200 million hours. We have come to provide clarification. Probably the senator is not well informed about what happened there. So for the sake of the public, we want to make the clarification. At the Ministry of Agriculture, we had two projects funded by the World Bank. The first is the STAR project, and that project was approved in 2019, valued at $48 million. Of the $48 million, the World Bank provided $25 million and IFAD $28 million. But this is what happened to that money. When COVID happened in 2020, the government, of which Senator Mangay was a minister, reallocated $10.5 million of that money for COVID intervention. That money was not utilized by the Ministry of Agriculture. Part of that money went to WFP, and part of that money was managed by then EPA Director and the Ministry of Agriculture. They used it to intervene in the sector, leaving that project with $38 million for investment. Of the $38 million, some of the money were used to support smallholders who were into agro businesses through the grant project that the ministry administered. And let me make it clear. First, this government that came to power in 2024 in January has not, under our stewardship at the Ministry of Agriculture, approved any grant to any farmer. I know the argument has been, we have been the one giving money to our friends. They say the Ministry of Agriculture is giving money to people who are in government, who are authorities in government, who are ministers, who are directors, and even senators. But I want to make it clear that under our leadership, we have not given out any single dime. All the disbursements that have been made right now were agreements that were entered into between 2020 and 2023. We came and saw this contract already signed. All we have been observing has been disbursement to farmers who benefited from the grant. So for the STAR project, disbursement has been made, and the World Bank company of that project is ending this June. Now, we are trying to clarify the myth that there are $200 million of mismanagement. The STAR project was $48 million, and the government, in its own wisdom at that time, took away $10.5 million from that project and used it something differently. The second project that we have there is the RETRAP. That's the Rural Economic Transformation Project, the RETRAP. The total financing for that project is $170 million. That includes the initial financing of $55 million and a second financing of $150 million. But this is how that money is being used. Out of the initial $55 million, $30 million was allocated for the construction of road in Nuetah County, the road that leaves Tapeta to Nuetah. It's a 40-kilometer road that the government saw necessary to use $30 million out of the initial $55 million to be used for that road. And that fund is now administered by the Ministry of Agriculture. That fund is administered by the Ministry of Public Works because it's road works. For the RETRAP, the second financing of $85 million, the second financing of $85 million is also meant for road construction. And the road that leads Nuetah to Zwedru is funded under that initiative. The entire 85 plus the initial $30 million, making it $115 million out of a total of $170 million is being utilized by the Ministry of Public Works. It went through a financing agreement from the World Bank, but not utilized now. So, out of the total of $220 million that in the ministry, 115 of that amount is being used by the Ministry of Public Works to provide road construction services that link this country to neighboring countries. So the idea that we have received $200 million and mismanaged it is not true. A large proportion of that money was dedicated to road. And the only reason why today you will not see paved road between Liberia and Cote d'Ivoire is because when the contractors started to do the job, there was a need for some assessments. Those assessments were necessitated by the same World Bank consultants who came and said they saw an elephant footprint in the corridor where the road was supposed to be built, and they needed to do biodiversity study to know how the construction of that road was going to impact the livestock in that ecosystem. And that work has been ongoing for more than 2 years. And the money, the $150 million are still with the bank. They have been disbursed yet to the country. Once the studies are completed, the bank will release the funding for the construction of that work. If you want to verify what I'm saying, you can check with the Ministry of Public Works to find out how much money that went through agriculture is dedicated to that work that they do with road construction in the country. One other thing I want to clarify is the idea that we as a government have been taking money and giving to our farmers or to our friends. That's not true. As I said earlier, the RETRAP and the STAR projects were approved 2019 and 2021. All of the procurement processes, all of the grant discussions that were taking place they were all managed by independent bodies. The Grant Portfolio Honor Recap and Star Project were managed by a consultant, are still being managed by a team headed by Deloitte. Deloitte manages the Liberia Agriculture Commercialization Fund. And it is through that fund that the grants that people receive have been funded or been disbursed. So you have to apply for the grant, you go through a vetting process, you are qualified, and Deloitte recommend you to the fund advisory committee that is called the FAC, and then the FAC 6 review the recommendation and approves it. So it's not like somebody just goes, look at the document and say, okay, I will give it to this person. No. People have been going through a rigorous vetting process. If you are not qualified by Deloitte that is managing the fund, you are not given a grant. So it shouldn't appear that people just select you and give you the money. And I want to be specifically clear that this government has not approved any grant. All we have been doing have been to observe the disbursement of those who were previously qualified to receive the money. I think that's the clarification I want to make to the press today. And I will take questions. All right, thank you.
So that clarification from the Minister of Agriculture, we will now invite, please keep all the questions. I will now invite the organizers of the Miss University Beauty Pageant for remark. They will speak, they will retire to their seats, and then we will take the questions from you, members of the press. So the Deputy Minister for Culture and Tourism will speak before the organizers. You speak on behalf of the organizers? Okay.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and my Minister Castro, Minister Nuetah, all protocol up there. Today we have with us queens, our beauty. These are all winners from the Miss Inter-University Liberia contest. So we are going to intersperse it. As you know, MICAT is also in the show business. That's why we do pageants and everything. So I will ask Ms. Molin Javo. She's also a queen. She's Miss Liberia USA, Miss United Nations, and currently president of the Pageantry Union in Liberia.
Thank you, Minister. Hello, everybody. Like she said, my name is Molin Jarbo. Actually, I was Miss Liberia USA 2013, long ago now. I'm the president of the Pageant Union. I just want to take this moment to tell the Ministry of Information, Cultural Affairs, and Tourism, thank you for the continuous effort in promoting pageantry. Last week, Saturday, we had the opportunity to have the Miss Inter-University Beauty Pageant that was hosted by Thai Entertainment consultancy firm. So I would like to take this moment to introduce the CEO and also the media consultant who's going to come on and basically just give us an outlook of the pageant and also talk about the sponsors. So they'll tell you a little bit of that. Tyrese and Vic Jones.
Hello everyone. Like Molin said, my name is Big June Exolusha. I'm the media consultant for the Miss Inter-University Beauty Pageant Organizing Committee. I'm here today with my team lead, Mr. Tariq Tai. He's the CEO for Tai Events and Media Consultancy. So I'll just do an overview and then he can come in to check with the necessary information. Thank you, Minister. Okay, so the Miss Inter-University Beauty Pageant, let me say, has been a historic one. But before I go on, I don't want to. Let me just recognize the presence of the minister and all the other platform guests. That was an oversight. I'm so sorry. I think I'm so excited to share about our pageant, so I'm very sorry. So the just ended Miss Inter-University Beauty Pageant, it was a non-beginning beauty pageant contest in Liberia, squarely research focused, where we had our contestants presenting on their research topics that they chose for themselves. So I'd like to thank our sponsors, our team, and our partners, especially MICAT. I just shared with Minister Sano that the pageants were really successful because we have MICAT as the regulatory arm really involved. They provided their professional and technical support. They were really supporting us along with Molin, the president of the Pageant Union of Liberia. And we have other sponsors who participated and the participating schools, the judges and the queens as well. So I'd like to talk about the transparency of the pageant. We decided that we wanted to shift the whole dynamics about how pageantry is viewed in Liberia, and we were on a mission to conduct a fair pageant to prove to the world that Nigerian young people can organize a transparent pageant. So one of the strategies we used was to hire a statistician to tally the votes of the contestants in the presence of their independent observers. And then we also have quality, credible judges. But this pageant, we decided to lessen the burden, the financial burden on our contestants, because obviously when young people, especially young women, are contesting in beauty contests, they literally go out of their way to get sponsorships. So the team decided to hold up from a 7,000 LRD financial support, which was a sign-up bonus. The queens are here, they can attest to that. And then right before the finale, we also give them 15,000 LRD for, funnel preparation. So their hair, their corporate wear for outfit for photo shoot, their sportswear, their Ankara blouses, and so many other things. The organizers were able to handle that through partnerships with other sponsors. So the car prize we're here today to present to the winner is, it was given to us by FC Fastel and NIF Liberia, our sponsors. And then the laptop we also have here for the Queen is also given to us by Tiffany Liberia, our headline sponsor. They also provide a scholarship for the 3 queens, because the 3 of them are going to have 1-year scholarship each at their current university. For the Miss, the Queen herself, who is at UL, the tuition-free, her scholarship fund will be given to her for a research project. Will be here to be able to help her through that. So I also want to thank the Liberian people. Before I call on my team lead, you people were very much keeping us on our feet. We wanted this because we're like, we need to do this with all the public accountability. We cannot go wrong. So thank you for being there and supporting us and the media partners as well. So Tariq, you can just go over the different
Honorable Minister and our distinguished platform guests, media present here, my dynamic points. On behalf of Tai Event and Media Consultancy, we want to extend our esteem and inspire congratulations to the Ministry for all of the technical support provided us through this process. So we also want to urge the Ministry to use the pageantry as a means to inspire young people, nation building, and young people in decision making. If we must sustain these young and beautiful women, we are appealing to the Ministry to provide job employment for them as we are able to guide them through their reign. This pageant could have been a success with our sponsors, our partners, the media, and the Liberian Pageantry Union. Today, we are officially come to turn over these beautiful, eloquent ladies. Like my media consultant said, this pageant is the first of a kind, strictly research-based, and these queens were very much up to the game that night. and the ministry and the rest of the world will bear a witness. So today, our queens will be receiving varieties of items in gifts because this is a merited pageant, and everything that we are giving them, we want to make sure that it sustains them throughout this process. So, Smart University Miss Hajami Success Command, who happens to be the second runner-up, will walk away with $50,000 Liberian dollars. Can we just get?
Okay.
So we want the media to see. So the $50,000 Liberian dollars in the 1 year fully funded scholarship. Okay. And the next one happens to be Miss Chira Do from Stars. Okay.
Thank you so much, Mr. Chowdhury. Thank you.
And she'll also have a 1 year fully funded scholarship. Okay, the next one is our first runner-up, Miss Chira Do, representing the Stars University. She's also going to be working away with $75,000 Liberian dollars in ambassadorial dues and a fully funded scholarship. And we want to put at least a round of applause for our dynamic queen. This pageant is not a beginning where it's not a pageant where you got to show your nice body to win. It's your brain and intellect. So put them together for.
Here comes our queen.
Miss Rashid Tivia of the State Brown University. So she don't be having a cash reward of $100,000 Liberian dollars, a brand new computer, minister. Yeah, a brand new computer from our airline sponsor, TrueLiberia, and also a branded car, shipped with a Malibu 2016. And she also got a lot of things here for her. So, ambassadorial deals with all of our partners. And also, we have making our customary way of life as from the pageant team of that event. She's going to be receiving a branded 18-karat gold ring from one of our sponsors, TrueLiberia. If you can see on the media, after the pageant, she went there to do her measurement because we couldn't produce the gold ring in the absence of the winner. So after the pageant, she was the winner, and she went there to do her fitting. So on Sunday, she's going to be receiving a branded 18-karat gold ring.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. Thank you so much to the organizers. One of the things we're trying to do here at MICAT is to take pageantry to a completely new level. And because of that, we decided to cancel the Miss Liberia Beauty Pageant as of the time it should have been held. We have an independent committee that comprises of private actors. They bring a comprehensive plan to present it to us, and then at the end of this year, we'll do the pageant on a very different arrangement. Because at that time, one of the things we will make sure we have will be a brand new forage office for the Queen here at MICAT. We will also ensure that we will formulating our budget. There will be a small amount to enable that Queen to do something, not just to say that after winning the partnership. For this level, we're starting with Miss Liberia, but we hope to come down later to Queens in your category, because it's not sufficient to just say you want the thing, your car, your this, and that's it. They got to be seen doing something productive. The government will help them to do so. So on behalf of the ministry and the organizers of the pageant, I present to you the key for your car, and I want to say congratulations. And to say further, I want to say further that the prices are okay, but we got some good people in this country, good men. So when they were presenting the prices, I think they said the winner of prize is 100,000. And when they were giving the 100,000, the Minister of Agriculture, who is a very good man and my good friend, said the 100,000 not bad, but it's small. So the Minister will have 50,000. For the winner of the one that value 75,000, right? I mean $75. 75,000. Deputy Minister Daniel Sano will reach it to 100,000. Today he added 25,000. Yes. And for the one that got the 50,000, it will be made 90,000 that we added by the Minister. The minister got able lieutenant, then he got to worry himself. So when I'm a henna inside. So after this, I will encourage all of you journalists, you know, it's good to give coverage to this kind of thing to impress the young women. And I agree with Tariq, we got to do more to empower them, to make them to be more productive than to just walk around barely with that. So we'll go downstairs to give the vehicle, I will want you to be there. So it can serve as a motivation for other young girls who will be watching on. But before we do that, the Minister of Agriculture made some strong clarifications here, and I know the press may have some questions. Minister Sanders spoke earlier on many different things, so we just take those few questions that you will have, after we will all go down together and make a final presentation. Thank you.
Thank you. Members of the press, let us have a quiet seat. Thank you so much. My name is Samson Debuya and I'm from Kerry. So my question goes to the Minister of Agriculture. Yes, I'm a little bit concerned about. My name is Samson Debuya from Kerry. So since you took over as a ministry, I know when I was sworn the Ministry of Agriculture.
Hello, Samson, 1 minute. The press conference is ongoing. One of your colleagues is asking questions and you need to back no more response. Let's be attentive.
Yeah, so I remember when I was sworn, the Ministry of Agriculture was working with rural counties, to provide means for the sector to have a fund where the county will be able to produce their own food for the ministry and helping the government to work back in 2004, 2007, So just concerned, what have been some of your initiatives to really show that the Ministry of Agriculture have various fund in all of the counties? Thank you so much.
Good afternoon, my name is Oya Phillips. I write for the Nuetah newspaper. I have one question for the guest at least. The question goes to Dr. Nuetah. Frankly, I have been with you sometimes traveling and seeing some of the way you are doing out there. But I'm listening, there is the issue of full criticism about the work do at the Ministry of Agriculture. Particularly the issue about the smallholder farmers that has to do with some trial cycles issue. According to the allegation, the trial cycle that been given to the farmers based on the price ranking, when you decide to do clarification. So I currently ask that you do a clarification on the issue of the trial cycle. My next question goes to the administration of the University of Liberia Beauty Pageant. Thank you for the program, but I also understood from some of the people that you say the first winner will also travel to the United States, but you cannot answer yet. Will that person stay with the United States? Thank you.
Thank you so much. My name is TrueLiberia and I work for Spoon Network. Dr. Nuetah, thank you for coming. In your session, you mentioned that the previous administration took away 10 million from the sector donors' money. But you are there now. Was there any clarification? Was there any document or any report made as to whether how the money was spent and why the money was removed from the agriculture sector? So, how does it work that the executive can just go to a particular ministry and withdraw 10 million and provide no justification and all of that? Is there any report that you made to justify the removal of the 10 million from the agriculture sector by the CDC administration that you alleged?
Thank you. My name is Mokolu, and my question goes to Mr. Nuetah. I run the multimedia hall. I'm finding the So, Mr. Nuetah, you disagree with the senator that you didn't give him money. But my concern is, if you have not initiated any loan, and you being the minister now, and you only observing disbursement charges, how many disbursements have you observed being ministered to the ministry, and how much have you disbursed to those people who have been qualified from previous government? Thank you.
Thank you. My name is Desmond Williams, and I represent for Democracy Watch. Thanks so kindly, Minister of Agriculture. The explanation was very, very short. Media, Democracy Watch. My concern is you have affirmed the two projects that with the Ministry of Agriculture, the STAR project and that of the wheat trap project, mounting in total STAR 48 million, wheat trap 160 million, in total of 208 million. That out of the 208 million, 115 million was used by the then administration on growth project. And what could be your own definition of the allegation of misapplication of funds that was met for agricultural projects or rather use on roads with construction? Thank you, Kambi.
Thank you. So my name is James Mbala, and I report for Great Jordan Government Independent. And so the grant previously provided is a minister is making a serious impact across the country. James Mbala. The grant previously provided is making serious impact across the country. We have witnessed some of them. And just yesterday we visited James Mbala, who is one of the biggest farmers in my county. But currently as we speak, the issue has to do with obtaining the grant now. There are a lot of farmers who are crying, who want to join the business of farming when we told them to quit themselves. But as we speak right now, go across my county, farmers are saying to get access to the loan is very hard. He said that the grant is really exhausted, and if it is exhausted, you are not approved any grant. Are you willing to this government to provide more grants since the government has interest in the arrest agenda with agriculture? And the follow-up questions is, there are more funds that have come through your ministry and is being shipped to rural communities. Is it that the government is lacking interest now in the agriculture sector that more funds is only going to roads? Thank you.
Thank you. My name is Steve Ramos and I work for Liberia. My first question goes to Mr. Sanu. can you give us this clarity regarding to information circulating on social media that the Ministry of Public Works, along with the Monrovia City Corporation, are going to demolish midships across Monrovia? And then, the Agriculture Minister, please, since you took over as Minister, regarding the issue of this loan money coming to the country, before taking over, tell us what did you observe? Was there any issue of mismanagement coming in, or maybe some misappropriation of cash when you took over as Minister? Thank you.
My name is Joseph Sally, and I report from Nuetah. My name is Joseph Sally, and I report from Nuetah. Chapter 3, Section 2.1 of the National Infantry and Armed Cooperation Act. When the Director General leaves, the next in line should be appointed. And we saw the appointment of Mr. Cyrus Silve by the President. And B, to that question, were there any conversation between you and Madam Glasgow before she headed to the ECOWAS court, and what do you made of the 10 million loss against the government?
What's the name?
Joseph Sally.
Good afternoon, my name is Christopher Besman, and I report for Beauty Pageant.Hon. With a lot of farming activities we carry on within Monrovia, particularly within district.
One minute. It's not proper for us to be telling you, generally professional people, to keep quiet. Can you just have decorum here? Go ahead.
So I'm Christopher Besman from Beauty Pageant.Hon. A lot of farming activities in Monrovia, particularly the district number 17, where we with a team in terms of monitoring, evaluating, and kind of regulating those farmers. Thank you.
Thank you, Let me say thank you for the salient questions. I think we are here to provide clarification. Every question you ask is important. We will endeavor to provide some information on these questions. Samson spoke about previous activities of the Ministry of Agriculture in the rural communities. I think you're referring to the communal farming system that we had before, where communities will establish their own production sites and produce what they feel is important for the community. And predominantly they were doing rice. But that communal farming system kind of slowed down during a couple of periods. And farmers are again gearing up to start to do those. On most of our field trip, we are approached by the farming communities to help them. But truthfully, the Ministry of Agriculture is not the entity that does the communal farming system. It is legally under the Ministry of Internal Affairs. It is Internal Affairs that establishes communal farming. But in our own wisdom, we ask districts, if you can identify your own lowland, maybe you got 50 hectares of lowland, especially the swamp, we can help you develop it as your communal farm or as the district farm. Then, of course, our district agriculture officers will be responsible to provide you all the guidance you need to continue cultivation. New Liberia, the journalist spoke about the trust site, but of late, I've seen one particular station carrying the trust sample storage. And let me be frank, this was once a friendly station. I remember the first station I spoke on when I became Minister of Agriculture was that identical station. I had a friend, this beautiful lady is here, Madeline Sa. Yes, sir. Madeline Sa was my host along with Christopher Silve. And we started engaging, we did some things together. But I don't know why the station failed to even ask for clarification. You know, they've been carrying this misinformation for tricycle. Yes, the Ministry of Agriculture purchased some tricycles back in 2022. 2023, right? Yes. 2022, they bought some tricycles to be able to help those smallholder farmers, most of whom are benefited from the grant at the ministry, to be able to take their commodities to the market and conduct trade. But the tricycles were not meant to be just given. You needed to show some level of appreciation by making some contribution. So the ministry, through the project, the BTRA project, gives you the tricycle, but you will pay 40% of the cost. So when that arrangement was made, some farmers, most of them, made a deposit for the 40%, and the tricycles were being distributed. Some of the tricycles went to the counties in the southeastern part of the country, and we all know the challenging road situation in those counties. So there were delays in getting these tricycles dispatched. What has happened over the period is that most of those who wanted tricycle have gotten the tricycle because they paid what they were required to pay. And the tricycles have been delivered. So the argument that people pay their tricycle for the tricycle, they're not getting it. I want to see one person who come and say, I pay for tricycles, or I made my contribution, and did not receive tricycle. I just want one person. It's an open challenge. If you pay and you didn't receive a tricycle, come to the Ministry of Agriculture. Come there, we'll make sure you get it. But there will be nobody who will pay the matching contribution and does not receive. If there have been delay, especially for areas in the southeast, it was because during the the wet season, it was impossible to carry big truck with tricycles in those areas. So as soon as the dry season came, the team was very generous enough to take the tricycle to those areas, and distribution is taking place. In fact, my team just left the field to do an assessment. The assessment report tells me that majority, or almost all of those who made that payment have received the tricycle. So I just want to make that clarification. And a spoon clarification on the $10.5 million. The $10.5 million was something that came out of the emergency response to the COVID situation. The government, I know some of you may have followed the news where the WFP was purchasing rice and distributing it to family, to hospitals. Part of that money was reportedly used for that process. And part of it was used for other activities based on what the government of the day at that time saw necessary. They felt they needed to have intervention, so they had to revise the original document of the STAR project to create another component that was specifically responding to the emergency, and that money was put to that land for that intervention and was administered by the then Ministry of Agriculture, EPA, and then the WFP was hired to do the distribution. Our friend from multimedia, we talk about the grant, the different value chains. I brought this paper out to tell you what we have done, and this is the scene with the grant. There are separate value chains with different beneficiaries. The sheet you see here this is from the STAR project. This is horticulture. From 2019 to 2024, under the STAR project, there was approval for a total of $2.2 million to be given to beneficiaries under the matching grant project. This is there for horticulture. I'll call it the rest of the value chain. And out of that 2.2 million, 1.9 has been dispersed. The biggest chunk of the money went to oil palm. For oil palm, a total of $6.4 million was approved for grant to small and micro enterprises and some farming groups. Out of the 6.4 that was approved, as of the date I received this on the 15th of March, 5.3 million have been disbursed to beneficiaries for oil palm. For rubber, $1.4 million was approved, 1.1 disbursed to beneficiaries. And for rice, because the STAR project supports rice producers and value added or those who are into value addition, 5.4 million was approved and 4.7 has been disbursed on that project. Then there was something we call all of the value chains. For all of the other value chains that do not fall under what I just said, 206,000 was approved for them and 195 was disbursed. That's for the STAR project. Then for RETRAP, for the RETRAP project, we supporting poultry and other value chains. So for those who are in the poultry industry, 1.9 million or 1.96 million was approved, and as of the date I received this report, 1.5 million have been disbursed. For those into piggery, for the piggery value chain actors, $1.4 million was approved for them, 1.1 million disbursed. Then we have also cassava, those in the cassava value chain. For those in the cassava value chain, 2.3 million was approved, 1.5 million has been disbursed. So these are just some of the grantees or those small and medium-sized enterprises that were approved to receive grant. So as of December 31st, 2023, the total amount of grant approved was around 18.3 million, and the total that have been disbursed is around 16.8 million. So that's what happened with the grant. Now the Democracy Watch was asking for misapplication. Well, what we did when we came to the Ministry of Agriculture, all these projects, the RETRAP, the STAR project, they are audited regularly by the Federal Auditing Commission, GAC, right? So they audit them annually and produce a report. So the reports are there. They are open for you to look at. But what we tried to do was to assess where we met the ministry. So we decided to do our own audit of the ministry. That audit was done of the program, the specific program that the ministry oversees, what we call the Emergency Rice Reduction Offensive Program. We did an audit of it, and that audit, the reports were not too encouraging, but they are still being studied. But our question is about the grant status. Right now, it is true that people very benefited from the grant. You know, the farmers, those who are into value addition, and other people. The grant, they stimulate activities in them. But by the time we took over, the World Bank said they were doing review of the process. Like I said, after the World Bank review of the process, they told us that, well, in their own terms, there was some elite capture. So therefore the portfolio to be reassessed. So that process has still not been, But one thing I'd like to let you know is the STAR project that provided some of the grant was both funded by the World Bank and IFA. The World Bank component of the STAR project is ending in June. So there is no more RDA financing for the grant. That's supposed to go small farmers. So about a week ago, we called all of the potential beneficiaries and those who benefited and were into disbursement, we called them and informed them of what will happen. Because if the STAR project is ending, especially the RDA company of it, even though IFA has expressed interest in continuing with that process, they've provided additional financing to continue with the STAR project. We have to now sit and discuss with IFA whether IFA wants to continue with matching grant as is done under the current arrangement. If that happens, of course, we could continue with it, but personally, as an individual, I think we should try to create financing opportunity for our people so that people borrow money at a lower rate and invest it in a more productive way. You know, I was with the Minister of Finance just a few weeks ago. He was saying, oh, you can't borrow money, you can't take loan and give it as grant. Then how do you pay by the loan? You just give it as grant. So there are conversations around whether or not we continue giving grant. The mess management, whether we did assessment, yeah, like I said, we did some audits to see what's happening there. Now, Joseph asked about NAFA. I don't think I want to go.
Why did you go to classes?
I wore my glasses and look at So, no, you are asking questions that you know. I know some of you on the social media, you saw 2 different letters appearing on the social media, how the board chair, who happens to be me, acted based on the article that the section of the act that you just quoted. You know. But again, you know, certain times, certain things you can't have control, and the legal people interpreted the act the way it ought to be. You know, there can be temporary, you know, how do we call it? It's in the eye as when you are temporarily incapacitated. So, how you define temporary incapacitation will mean something to the lawyers that the non-lawyer could, you know, answer it differently. Other people see it as removal. So if it's removal, then of course, you act in a certain way. But that section of the act was interpreted as if the DG is sick, or the DG travels, or the DG is on a leave. So in an instance where the action that led to, you know, the DG was not in office anymore, suspended, if that suspension was interpreted as removal, then of course, I'm not in a legal position to say anything about it. Let me make it clear, Madam Emma Glasgow did not have a conversation with me about action. I am not for board chair, but she's a private citizen, she makes her own decision. I don't know how. I only heard about legal action against the government in the press. And however I think about it, I have no opinion about it because I'm not a legal person. The legal people will have the better opinion about what the $10 billion lawsuit against the government means. That was not for in my paragraph, just the mayor and the culture. Huh? Mayor and the culture.
Can you introduce the forward layer again?
Oh, yeah, it's sorry. Yeah, thank you for that. But you know, I'm making everybody do
It's the 17.
Huh?
It's the 17.
It's the 17?
Yes.
No, you talk about you are doing well. You know,
lost happiness.
I'm looking at those beautiful faces over there now. Sorry. So, you see, let me tell you. You see me sitting here, I'm the newest on this team. The 3 guys can be called, they the one they all the team are talking here. I was not found anything. So I called that day. The man in the middle that they call him Mr. Galato. Team 7. Galato is the national project coordinator. He is the one who coordinates the STAR and the Nuetah project. So they have been doing great job, right? He and his team led the implementation. The next person there is Steve Marley. Steve Marley is the one who headed the STAR project, the STAR P. He is the operation manager. So I brought them here to give him background. If I say, if I lie, they will correct me. Then the other man over there is Tommy Jacket. Tommy Jacket is the man responsible for Nuetah. So all of the other questions that have to do with those two projects, those are the guys that have the better answers. I only joined this team in 2024. So those are the people who did all the job. So thank you.
You know, you plus the other team. So I tell you more that they were independently vetted.
They were vetted by UNDP. By the matter of fact, I was wondering, but I didn't get the job.
So there was a question for your team. Please answer.
Okay. Thank you. So you asked about the U.S. opportunity, the UN conference. We have our partners, MICAT, who are very much committed to facilitating that to the conference. The Queens are going to attend the UN Youth Assembly in August this year. But aside from that, there are other international opportunities that the Queens are available to the Queens, like the Miss University Africa Beauty Pageant that's going to be held in Lagos this year. We're in communication with the organizing committee. And then the three winners also will have internship opportunities at reputable institutions who are our partner institutions. And then there are also gifts and ambassador deals and other opportunities that are available to the Queens as well. So to the deans of the participating schools, that's UL, STAR, SMITE, AMU, Bucharest, and Notre Dame, the parents, teachers, sponsors, partners, Molly and MICAT. MICAT stayed with us from the start of the pageant, and then they crowned the winner. I mean, that was very incredible, and we are very grateful for that. Minister Sando and Minister Norris, they really were there to, support the pageant. So I want to confirm to Liberian people today that Minister Pia and his hardworking team, they're very much committed to working with you. If you're willing to conduct or host a beauty pageant, just be sure that MICAT is involved for proper regulation and professional and technical support. So I also want to thank my team, my incredible organizing team, for all of the support, and Mr. Lawrence over here. You've also been working with us, and every other person here at MICAT. Thank you so very much. We are grateful, and we'll always be knocking your doors for your support as we move on with the project. Thank you.
Okay, so on behalf of the Ministry of Information, we want to extend thanks and appreciation to Dr. Nuetah, his team, Big John and her team for coming here. MICAT remains open to working with any organization involved in pageantry because we need it to be done thoroughly to avoid noise. Stephen, you asked a question. You said, is the Ministry of Public Works demolishing structure? What do you see happening? What do you see happening across town? There are structures that have been identified to be in the way of the sewage line, the water line by the LWSC. They are working together with the Ministry of Public Works to carry out the demolition. The MCC is also ensuring that there can be safety ordinances. Right? People just go about building structures just anywhere. So the Minister of Public Works and the MCC were joined in Central Town yesterday, and they have identified structures to be removed. Moreover, should be no exception when it comes to beautifying capital. When we go to other countries, we see the cities are beautiful. When we come to Liberia, Moreover, and you see people, there's no way to even walk on the sidewalk. So there's a video of the MCC boss circulating on Facebook. Listen to that video, you know what they are up to and what they want to do. Yeah? He said, so the media will lead the way down the stairs, and the minister will lead the delegation to go with it. Okay, so we'll take photos.